Well,
Yeah.
good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good golly, Miss Molly. Welcome to Rock and Roll Rowdies channel, Rowdies Live. Thank you all for being here out there. Like, share, subscribe, click everything you can click.
Click on all your buttons.
Click it all. Click every button possible. Hit that thumb button and notify button and do all that wonderful stuff. So these lovely guys here can share these wonderful stories with the world.
And there's only two of us today.
And so gentlemen, how are you?
Good.
I will be glad to get out of England. I'm done with the weather. I've been here nearly 3 months, and I've had 2 months of rain. It's just depressing.
Jeez.
It's horrible. I've got 6 weeks left. I'm going to Liverpool to pick up my suitcase, which has been in my friend's house for 4 months. Then I'm going down to London for a week, and I'm going to meet up with Mark Emery. Mark Emery.
Who's that?
We're going to do the Martin gig with Wishbone at the 100 Club.
Oh.
Then 2 weeks in Kent with Mal Craggs doing our New Deal radio show.
Very nice. Tell us a little bit more about that radio show then. What's the story, the full story?
The full story is, I believe it's the 21st of September. Mal and I are going to be doing Deal Radio with Mark, and Mark Emery and Granny are going to be doing the show with you, and somehow we're going to put it all together.
Great.
So we're all connected.
I'll leave all the technical side to you, Wilco.
Oh, yeah, please do. Please do.
We're technically challenged as it is.
By November.
We're technically challenged as it is. That sounds like we need a satellite or something of our own. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
So by the way, you mentioned the 100 Club. This 100 Club?
Right, yep, that it is.
100 Club, 100 Oxford Street.
That's right. In the heart of London.
Yeah,
been there for many years, and it's an iconic club. Right back to when the Marquis was there as well.
Yeah.
And I think in the early days it was a jazz club.
It was, yeah.
And then it was a rock club, and then it was a punk club.
It's famous in the punk world, the 100 Club. They all played there, yeah. I've walked past it dozens of times and never been in it. Because it's in Oxford Street, right in the heart of, like, near Marks and Spencer. It's right.
It's right next to Anne Summers.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. When you nip out for a cigarette, you can stand in window shop.
Yeah, I used to go in there all the time. I used to tell the women to wait. I'm just going to go next door. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Did they do live demonstrations of lingerie? Was that one? Then?
Oh, no, I used to go and get my toys, All
right.
I used to get lost going back to the 100 Club.
Maybe we could do a gig there, next door to the 100 Club.
Yeah.
Next door.
We should.
Why not? I mean, just all you need is a microphone and a little lamp, and just stand there and say, we're here to do a gig, and no one will contradict you because they'll think that it's been ordered by the management.
Yeah, the thing we just a pair of buskers, just hanging out of the corner,
Yeah. Before we go any further, I just want to say hello to Dustin, our great friend. How are you, mate?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having me, guys.
You're
always
awesome.
wonderful to see your beautiful faces.
We are. We're all the
beautiful beard, Dustin.
Yeah,
it gets longer every
hell
week.
of a beard, I tell you.
It's nice, those symmetry. We've got the balds on one side and the hairs on the other side.
We're gonna fight later.
Maybe I don't know the beard. Maybe we
Yeah.
should be the like. You see if I can change this. There you go. You see the beard is above me now, and I can go.
Yeah,
like
right,
this.
right.
And don't get it caught in your mouth, as you're talking.
Never get that hair in your mouth.
Well, no.
Rule number one.
Well,
If you keep growing, you're going to give Brian some hair.
I need something. Yeah, I don't know.
That's
I
a
should
good
be.
idea.
Yeah, wearing a hat. I've got trouble is there's plenty of hair everywhere else. It's just on the head.
Okay, let's get
Too
personal
much
now.
information.
But that's the way it goes. It's not like you lose it all. It just the rest of it seems to turn
Just
green.
comes out of your ears and
like. But
about is the first time I got this cut, really short, and I'm looking in the mirror and I'm going, "What is that?" And it was this hair on both my ears were out here. And of course, with having long hair, I've never seen it before. And I'm going, I better grow my hair back because I've got all these ugly hairs in my ears, on my ears, behind my
As
ears.
you get older, the hair start growing from all the places you don't want them to go from.
Yeah,
That's right.
your nose.
The nose, the
Yeah.
hair.
Yeah.
It's a normal question in my house to be like, "Hey, babe, can you pluck my ears?"
And the
Yeah,
answer
indeed.
is
I have a device for that.
Fucking with what?
You should get one of those devices that does things like that. You just stick it in there and whatever. But is that at least I think that's what it's for. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you get one that goes in your ears, up your
Up
belly,
the nose.
nose.
You see, the nose ones are the worst because they kind of tie into the mustache and eventually they blend and you don't know what's what.
They really do.
I'm interested in what you said there, Wilco, that you hadn't seen your ears for what, 40 years? Because
50.
your long hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've
They're
forgotten
ugly
you
as
had
shit.
them.
They're so ugly. That's why I grow my hair. I can't stand them.
Yeah.
I look like the elephant. What do you call him?
Dumbo.
Dumbo. Not Bimbo. Dumbo.
Bimbo the elephant. That's
Yeah.
a different club, I think.
Is that a
Bimbo
different-
is like a snack company.
Oh, Bimbo, yeah. Yeah, it's not what we know about bimbos. But
I
anyway.
know.
I've chewed
I
on a
was
few-
I was trying
I've
to.
chewed on a few bimbos in one time.
All right, well, that's we're just immediately being cancelled by the entire world now for that. But no, I'm just kidding. Hey, as long as
talking about
it's
the snack.
mutual.
I'm
As long
talking
as
about
it's-
the sweet. I'm talking about the
Exactly,
confectionery.
the bimbos.
Yeah, I used to have a
That's
company
right.
called Bimbo Inc.
Yeah, it was the confectionery. That's right. So
.com.
I just want to go back to so just so I make sure everyone understands what's happening. So, Evolution Music,
Yeah.
and radio station in Deal.
Yeah,
You and Mark are going to be not Deal. Sorry, is it?
it's in Deal Cant. Yeah,
It's in Deal. So you're going to be there physically.
Yeah.
With
Mal Craggs.
Mal will be there too.
Yeah, it starts apparently at 7:30. I just got a whole list of stuff from them today.
All right.
We have to be there well before 7:30.
Sure. And we will all join remotely by the magic of the internet.
Yeah. I mean, I think getting it all together, two projects
Sure.
would be perfect. So that's what we should work.
Yeah, when he says
Mark-
it's Mark,
Mark
it's not
and me
me,
and
it's
Brian.
DJ. It's a DJ.
The other Mark. The other
Yeah,
Mark.
another Mark. I don't know what his last name.
So we'll get that. Yeah. So
Mark
so
Casey.
so look to the channel, everybody, and to various other places where we will publicize that momentous event in rock history.
I'll be right back, chaps. I'm just going to get some water.
All right, water. That's right. Now we get see. Just
Oh, actually, my man Sarah has just gone to get it.
thank God you were wearing pants.
Well,
Why,
that's
are
what-
you not?
You
Brian?
can't stand up. You can't stand up. You got to have your pants on. I'm like,
Nobody
what?
on YouTube wears pants. Don't you know that?
No.
Nobody.
The weather's so nice here. You know, I'm being in shorts.
Yeah. So Davina is once again hitting us with the facts of the matter
Oh,
about the Marquis. So the Marquis of Granby. Okay. So he was into rock and roll, obviously. So he wanted to start a
he was
rock
playing
club.
his little flute.
I think it was a bit before our time, actually.
Yeah, really.
Are you sure?
I don't think that club was in the 1700s.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
It was probably the
Marcus.
Naughty Hellfire Club at that time. The naughty.
He's one of those naughty
Yeah. If you're
politics,
lucky.
naughty royalties.
Naughty Hellfire
Don't
Club.
mention Prince Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So London, though, I mean, we were planning to have some conversation about you guys in your early days going down. And would you say, Mark, going up to London?
Aye.
You'd be going up, he'd be going down, Wilco would be going down, and you'd be going up to London.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
young-
it's actually across, but it's up. Yeah, it's up to London, and it
as
used to
young
be a
people-
hell of a journey back in the back in those days because there was no motorway or freeway, whatever you want to call it. It was just little lanes really, and full of caravans.
Oh, right,
The
this
great
big holiday.
British caravan holidays where ramping up and down. It'd take you about 5 or 6 hours to get to London from here.
Yeah. I
Now
mean,
it's
that's
free.
1969, 1970 era, or
Yeah, you
Yeah,
didn't
I
want to
mean,
come
it's the
home
same
very
time.
often.
It's the
Once I
same
went
time
to
going to
London, I didn't come
Newcastle.
back for nearly 20 years,
yeah. So there would be no M4 or whatever it is
No
now.
M5.
No
Yeah,
M5,
M4,
sorry.
M5. I think there was an M4, but I don't know. I don't even think there was that because you're cutting across country.
It's hard to remember that. I mean, it was the same up for us up north, even when I was a kid in the 60s and 70s. The roads were like, you wanted to go to London, that was a whole day to get to drive to London. The A1,
sure.
you had to go down the A1 before the M6 was built or whatever. And even that only went to Birmingham.
Before the M1 was built, yeah.
Yeah, so Wilco will remember the A1, I'm sure.
Oh, I lived on it.
It's still a nightmare. The A1 is still a nightmare, even though they keep expanding it and everything. It's still a nightmare.
Well, they expand it, but then they put traffic lights on it. So
no, yeah.
I mean, the 70s.
I was on it just the other week. Went up to Newcastle, and it was a nightmare.
You took the A1?
Up the A1M it is now. And all that.
Yeah.
I remember back in, if you're going back to the early days of gigging for, when I was working with Wishbone back in the early days, we'd go up and do gigs, Birmingham or further north than that, and drive back after the gig, and invariably it'd be foggy as hell, at 2 or 3 in the morning, and the roads, it'd take you forever, and then you finally meet up with the M1 for about 20 miles. That was the luxury of driving into London.
Hatfield in the north was the same.
After you'd stopped at the Blue Boar, of course, that was the you'd sort of go there and everybody was there, sort of transit vans filling up the car park. Wilco, has got stories.
You know what? Let's do that next week with the other two gentlemen.
Yeah, well, anyway, it's just
Blue Boar, because that was where all the rock and rollers stopped. Every band in England stopped.
But it was tough. Yeah, it was tough touring back then because the roads were crap. It was the infrastructure in the UK was way behind Europe and, well, obviously the States. I mean, and Canada as well, probably. But it was a nightmare to get anywhere, and you had to leave hours and hours before the gig to get there, and then get there late.
Do you recall ever touring up in the north of Scotland in those days, like way up in the Highlands? Because the A9 single track road with passing places, that must have been a nightmare to take a truck up with gear in it.
Yeah, we didn't really hit Scotland until we were a bit bigger, and we're doing like the Apollo and stuff like that. But the guys from the Average White Band, the Glencoe, pre-Average White Band, those guys were touring up there,
It was single track roads in the Highlands.
Well, let me tell you a story.
Well,
about
indeed,
the Average White Band. And we played in, I think it's Edinburgh, and I was doing an overnight drive with Alan, Oni, and I think Big Mac, one of the Rowdies, and I was driving. And we must have set off about midnight, doing the gig, loading the truck. And it was like, forget fog on the Tyne. I mean, I couldn't see a thing in the fog. I was driving very slow. And all of a sudden, the lights pick up this drunk bouncing around on the streets, on this road, rather,
in
with his fishing rod. With his fishing rod. So I just basically calmly drove up next to him. And one Alan said, "Where you going, laddie?" He goes, "I'm ganning fishing." He had a bottle of whiskey with him. And he's like, "I'm ganning fishing." I must have been, between 12 and 1 o'clock in the morning. It was fantastic. I mean, you can't write that stuff, you know what I mean?
Where did you set off from to go to Edinburgh, though? Where did you start?
We left Edinburgh
and
going into Galashiels and
Galashiels
and dropping. Yeah, I was dropping the band off in the truck. I was like,
and it was pretty remote.
The driver at the back then,
Yeah, those were pretty small, remote towns there, like Galashiels.
I mean, I tell you, but he's talking about one road in, one road out. Yeah, and you've worked all night. And I think I dropped somebody off at the hospital. Got one of the fans who got a glass in the back of his head. Yeah, we did. We dropped somebody else off at the hospital, and it was just a continuation. I think I got to Oni's house 5, 6 in the morning.
Yeah,
I mean, after dropping Alan off the hospital,
picking
up a guy fishing, and it was just part of the gig. It was fun. To me, it was fantastic. I was just
it could have been my dad,
Yeah, well,
he was a big fisherman. No, he didn't drink so much whiskey, but he was a big fisherman. But yeah, they just wander in the streets at night with a rod.
This guy couldn't even see straight. He was just gone. And I don't know, and there was no houses around. I don't know where the hell he came from.
Yeah.
You know,
It's probably like a cave, maybe, or
under a rock. Who the hell knows? It was.
So our great friend who I was talking to on the phone the other day is with us, Lena.
Oh,
Lena
Lena. Yeah. Good evening, rock gentlemen's. Regards from Devon. She's probably just hovering around the corner from Mark somewhere unseen.
No, she lives about 10 miles from me.
Yeah. Could you please tell us the most funniest story of your music experience in your life? Thank you. I think you're the best and still are. Well, that's great. I mean, yeah, the funniest. That's a tough one.
Yeah, go on, Mark. You lived in there, didn't you?
It is a tough one. Yeah.
Go on. Talk about two legs over easy.
Well, I was going to tell you about this in San Francisco.
No, Devon, hometown. Forget San Francisco.
It's too close to home.
No.
This guy here experienced these stories you're about to hear.
That's how I remember you. Brilliant.
That was it.
My
take six jacket,
Yeah.
silk shirt, and flared trousers.
Look at the flares. Those are the biggest flares you'll ever see.
What year was that? 76?
Oh, I don't know, 71.
That was actually 73. I was at my sister's wedding.
So this story that Wilco's trying to prompt you to tell.
He's trying to interrupt me on it, Ali.
Can we hear it?
We were in San Francisco and we were staying at the Miyako Hotel, and it was our first tour, I think. We were at the Fillmore East. And there was a girl there, and we called her Cadillac. She drove a Cadillac, and it was like a limousine, right? And we became friends, and we used to go out after the gig and circle around a bit. So she took me home one night, and it was kind of nice. She was attractive. Anyway, we got to her place and had a couple of drinks and all that, and it came to getting a bit cuddly, and she turned out to be a guy.
Yes, I knew it. Yes.
So it's the whole Lola thing in real life.
The Lola thing, yeah. So I kind of escaped the house, sort of ran, sort of not naked through the streets, but it's basically
down the drain pipe.
So you didn't linger for a while just to experiment.
And I guess it was pretty close to the center of town, because I remember going down these big steep hills. I don't know where the hell I was. I was in San Francisco. I'd only been there a couple of days.
All right.
And I finally got a cab once I got to the center of town, but I was like shaking. It's like, what the hell is this happened?
Welcome to San Francisco.
One story, but
it's funny you said that, because the first tour we did with Average White Man, it's the same thing. This beautiful chick backstage. I'm checking her out. I'm going, God, look at that. I'm not too bad at all. So the lighting guy dragged it off. I'm going, oh, God. Well, win lows, whatever. 20 minutes later, it was the same thing. He came running in. He's got something down there. I was like, are you kidding me? Thanks for saving me, mate.
It's the whole...
Easily led, but it was a bit of a shock. More of a shock than funny. But looking back on it, it's like, what the hell was I doing?
Surprise package for Mark. That's the whole Lola story, of course, which was written by Ray Davies about their manager Robert Wade in a club in Paris where that thing had similar thing. But he said that his manager did leave in a taxi with said person. So what happened after that, nobody knows. But he re-switched the story to London, but that's what it was about. But,
and he was a she, or she was a he.
Indeed, and you must have had an awful lot of surprises in your time traveling the world, gigs, not just of that kind, but things you weren't expecting.
Well, I mean, these sort of ladyboys are not just confined to Thailand; they're all over. Chicago was a major house for she's backstage.
You just seem to pick them up everywhere, mate.
Well, I know, and everyone acts like that alternative lifestyles are a modern phenomenon of the 2020s, but people have been living different lifestyles for a long time, and particularly in big urban centers. So it's not like it was unknown.
Well, San Francisco is, free love and all the rest of it, wasn't it? Back in those days, it was, Haight Ashbury and
it's free love, but sometimes you had to pay. And in other ways, I
Pay
don't
the
mean in
price.
cash. Yeah, they had to pay the price.
I love San Francisco, but it's been tough for me because I had another experience there where it was when I was with the white band and we were playing in San Francisco. Not the same type of story, but I accidentally or somehow I was driving up one of those steep hills and I bumped up the bum of a girl driving in front of me. Not physically up her bum.
You
but
try to
The
find your carrot
bumper.
the bum.
The bumper.
So bumper. So anyway, I got out of the car and I was like, "Oh, really sorry." Da, da, da. Tell you what, we're playing at a gig down the road tonight. Come on down and I'll get you in. You know, as a sort of. There was no damage to the car that I could see. So anyway, she didn't show up at the gig. Next morning, I'm at the hotel. Bang, bang, bang on the door. The bloody lawyer servicing me a warrant or whatever you call it. She'd been to the lawyers and you know wanted to sort of sue me for whatever. So luckily we were just checking out at the time, and it's like, fuck, yeah, I'm off, you know. I never heard from it again. But geez, you never know what you're going to run into, and you know.
But like suing for whiplash or something, or
Yeah, that's what it was. She
yeah,
was
that
saying
kind
that.
of thing. Speculative, in other
And
words.
I think she might have even intended it in the first place, you know, and rolled back into me as opposed to me actually. But you know, you never know what the bloody hell's going to do, and you think you're gonna, you know.
Well, I think
I'm just sort of like nice about it, and like really sorry. Da, da, da. Here's a couple of tickets for the gig, and they went, money here.
Yeah, you should get a 30 bob instead of the tickets.
So
here's 30 bob. Sorry, on your bike.
I mean, that's a kind of an example of a run-in with the law in a sense. But I mean, where you traveled all over the world, law enforcement. Sometimes you must have had issues with local law enforcement for various reasons. If you can talk about those, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I never at all. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Ooh,
come on, then
1975 when I first arrived, I was actually hanging out in Manhattan Beach. Hamish had lost his voice, so I was in Manhattan Beach with Phil Roachcliffe. His nickname was Roachcliffe. And a friend of mine gave me a Porsche. Well, I just drank half a gallon of rum. So I drove all the way home from Hollywood, and I got pulled over 2 blocks from where I was living. And the cop looked at me, and I just pulled my passport out and went, I'm leaving in 2 days, which I was. And he was like, I've got your number. He took he wrote everything down and all that. And he goes, if you're not gone in 2 days, I'm after you, you know. But I couldn't even, and I kept it together. And as soon as he went away, I was like, just those were the days when you just drank and there was no drunk driving going on.
I did get picked up in LA for assumed drunk driving, but I was actually drunk, but I didn't get done for that. They pulled me over and they checked there was a warrant out that I had for a tail light offense or some kind of moving offense. And it was a bank holiday weekend, and this is in Santa Monica. And so they took me to the Santa Monica jail and said, we can't do anything about this until Tuesday. It's Friday night. The next morning, they shipped me off to LA County Jail.
Oh, God.
Right? And I don't know if people don't know, but LA
What
County.
you gonna do when they come for you?
I mean, it is full of the hardest criminals and gangs in LA and people on remand. And you know, it's a nightmare in there. I mean, I'm in this big, huge area jail. It must have been 500 guys there. It's bunk beds. And there's guys that are up in the watchtower thing, all looking down. But right across from me, there's bloody 2 guys humping in one of the bunks. I mean, I was like,
welcome to LA.
Did you get the phone numbers?
Yeah.
And I went to court finally got to court on the Tuesday. Ted Turner came down to pick me up. And it was $100 fine. You know, and I went through the
but-
whole weekend.
I mean, wasn't it worth it for
in
that
horror.
lifetime experience? I mean, come on,
Well-
$100 is cheap for that kind of experience.
Yeah, a
It's not
dinner
an
and a
experience I
show.
would wish on anyone, especially not myself. And I think it was the biggest thing to me is like, I never want to go to jail again. You know, this is
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you
Well, we
know,
see LA County Jail on movies and TV all the time. It's always
it's the
on.
hardest place. Yeah, it's full overall job, washed down, spray down up the
Yeah,
arse and everything.
Jesus. But they wouldn't
know?
mess with you. You were a roadie. Roadies were tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't fight them buggers.
I know. Well,
You
you're going to
can't.
say something, Dustin? Sorry.
But it just depends.
Oh, I
if
was
it's
going to
gonna
say he
be
got dinner and a show.
You got dinner and a show. That's right. And a shower and a free shower. Yeah.
Yeah, free room and board. Well, not
Yeah.
free. It cost him $100 for a weekend.
That's
right,
right.
3
It's-
meals a day.
Well, that's cheap for LA, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
think
think of it as a hotel in a sense. Yeah.
Just think of all the per diems you saved.
Next time I want a cheap hotel in LA, I'll run a red light or something on a holiday weekend.
I
They
should
don't arrest
point-
you now for anything.
Yeah, I should point out, by the way, to those listening in North America that bank holiday means public holiday.
Okay.
In Britain, we
Yeah.
call it a bank holiday because that's what they used to be. The
Yeah,
banks were
like
closed.
July the 4th or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Labor Day or something. Yeah.
Memorial Weekend, July 4th.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Just
Yeah, no,
hello
it's
to Miracle Art. Thank you to all these wonderful people for being in the chat. Courtney is here, and so she's about to hit the road. Well, don't, Courtney, make sure your tail lights are okay, is the message. All right. David is here. David Glenn, good to see you. Obviously, we've got Davina and many others. Great. Thanks for being here, everybody. Yeah, that's a hell of an experience, Mark, to go through.
Yeah, these are all the great things that happen when you're touring in your early 20s.
Yeah, and of course, you being a Brit,
It's
they'd
such
be
a
like,
glamorous lifestyle, man.
Right.
they were
not-
picking on you because you were a Brit, I think.
You know,
Yeah.
The only time I went to jail was in London, Christmas
Yeah.
Eve, I believe it was. And Granny and I were out.
Holiday again.
Oh, yeah. Well, I booked myself in.
Spend the
Booked
Christmas.
yourself.
Yeah.
Where are we going
Yeah,
for
Christmas.
Christmas?
Yeah. I was Guitar City, Drum City, doing all the old vendors that we all used to go to and get our strings and things and all that stuff. And at Christmas,
Shaftesbury
they all
Avenue.
had, back in those days, people drank scotch, whiskey, whatever you want to call it. And Granny and I were laughing and carrying on. And we were going to another venue or another place. And this young lady walked by and I just went, "Hey, nice boobs." And next thing I knew, there was like 3 cops jumped on me. So of course I'm just stood there like, "What do you want?" And I was just like pushing them away and poking them in the eyeballs and stuff and saying, "You know, what have I done?" They're like, "You can't do that." I said, "Well, ask the woman if she's going to, take me to court or whatever." Because she's like, "No, everything's fine. It's Christmas Eve. It's great. Don't worry about it." And there were young cops. They're like, "No, you go to jail." I'm going, "What do you mean I'm going to jail?"
Yeah.
So Granny was like, "I don't want nothing to do with this." So he's doing a back door, So this,
Is that the LA County Jail experience, the back door?
no, this is in Shaftesbury Avenue, London. And it was-
Shaftesbury Avenue. Oh, God.
Well, Shaftesbury Avenue cops. They're just like, they threw me in with an Irishman who was completely out of it.
That'd be
And,
West End Central. West End
yes.
Central.
It was 9 o'clock
No,
next
so-
day. They
so
went,
right.
"You can go home now."
There was a whole spitting image sketch about Prince Andrew where he was talking about Shaftesbury Avenue, but burying the shaft. Was
Right. Well, as I said, they put me in this with this Irish guy and going, "We're going to teach you a lesson." This Irish guy just said something. I turned on. I said, "You come anywhere near me, you're dead." And he was like, "I'll go to sleep." I was like,
Yeah.
"Thank you very much." I didn't go to sleep at all night.
Oh, dear.
Or send you to jail, Courtney, apparently.
So Courtney and Davina are giving you guys that have you jailbirds. They're giving you
Yeah.
what you should have done: boobs
Man
or
boobs.
show cleavage,
Man
and
boobs.
the police would let you off with anything then. Yeah.
Come on, then.
Yeah, I know.
It
That's
was
just
fun, I mean,
Is that
I
a
think that
normal
would've-
thing?
I could
in
have scared
London
them
to go to
off.
jail?
Yeah.
sorry, Dustin.
Is that a normal thing in London to go to jail for telling a woman she has nice boobs? Or was it the drunk in public thing?
I wasn't drunk. I'm always like that. I always look good.
That's right. I wasn't drunk. I was just
I was
normal.
just happy. I was just like bouncing off the walls.
You're talking to
reminds-
Wilco.
Yeah.
That reminds me of that great American comedian Ron White, where he says that he got thrown out of a window of a place when he was drunk of a bar, and then the police arrested him on the sidewalk, and then he was arrested for being drunk in public. He said, "I wasn't drunk in public. I was drunk in the bar. Somebody threw me outside.
I didn't want to be drunk in
I
public.
didn't want to be drunk in public."
Right.
It's a good answer, but
Yeah, it's, you just never know, but because it's really true. You see all these detective stories back in the 60s and 70s, and there's a couple of times Granny and I were in Wardour Street by the marquee, and we've been screaming and getting fights and stuff, and all of a sudden you see a Bobby walk out of the doorway of a building, hello, what's going on here then? It's like, get the F out of here. Who are you, fucking Bobbies,
Did you get to see his truncheon? Did he show you his truncheon?
Well, he asked him for it.
So it's
like that. It was a moving violation.
Moving violation. That's a good one. And Sexy Wilco.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, the amount of police that approached me, and I just went, don't even go there because I have no interest in listening to your nonsense.
You guys are getting a lot of love from the ladies in the chat. That's very nice.
Sexy Wilco.
Classic entrapment. Yeah. These are. I didn't know these. This is the first time I've heard these stories, guys. So that's pretty cool.
We got more. We got more than that. That's just
we have somebody else in the chat joining us. My good friend Anima Confusa. How are you, Anima? Nice to see you. We also had Lena was giving us another question for you guys. Now, I don't know. This could be a tough one. So she's asking about your performance failures. Could you please tell a little bit of failures during the performances in front of all the audience? I think you had a lot. Well, I'm depending whether she's talking about the band or the equipment or you guys personally. I'm not sure.
My fly was always up. My zipper was always up. I never had a malfunction.
No zipper malfunction.
No, the equipment never had a problem, apart from one night with the Average White Band at a club, and they were like, no, we're not going out for an encore. We're not going for an encore. So I went, great. So I unplugged the entire sound system, then walked back on. And they're going, plug it back in. I'm going, I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. What are you talking about? Plug it back in.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Yeah. No, it was fantastic because they played without a sound system. And it was just as good, not mic'd up, just went,
well,
I was actually the cables and putting all the equipment and was still playing and singing along,
So you invented the whole unplugged thing, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I unplugged the bastards, That'll teach him.
Mark,
we had a few amps go down during the performances and stuff, but we were professionals. Everything was taken care of and beforehand. Your sort of equipment was well maintained, and I know Lena's got a few stories about not being able to hear herself singing. And I've got one about a recent one when I was playing with my Pink Floyd band about a month or so ago. And we got the gig going and we did a sound check, but it was really harassed. And the sound guy wasn't actually a sound guy. He was a DJ. And the actual sound guy had gone off to do another gig. So we started the gig and I'm playing Shine On You Crazy Diamond. And I couldn't hear my guitar at all. But it was like somewhere back. I got the amp turned up full. I couldn't hear it. The keyboards were coming through the PA so loud, I couldn't hear it at all. And so I'm turning around shouting at the fucking sound guy, turn the keyboards down, turn my guitar up. It's a nightmare when stuff like that happens, when you can't hear yourself performing.
He'll play, that's...
So we had to stop the gig. We had to stop the gig, and the actual sound guy came back and sorted it out. And for about 10 minutes, we actually just sorted out and then carry on with the gig.
Mark, turn your mic down. You're too loud.
Me, yours isn't quite loud enough, but that's okay.
So I mean, there must have been times though in different countries where you had power problems and shit just didn't, like the power in the hall was bad or.
One of the funniest ones with me, who's seen Spinal Tap?
Who hasn't seen Spinal Tap yet?
Right. In Tokyo, Japan, When you come from the Hilton, you can go underground and it takes you right to the venue. Okay. So we just watched Spinal Tap that day and we're all laughing and carrying on. And the big Japanese, sumo wrestlers are taking us to the gig and we're all walking. And within 5 minutes, it was like, we were all like just cracked up. It's like, are you lost? They hadn't a clue where we were. They finally got on the walkie-talkies and were talking to somebody. And then within about 10 minutes, somebody came down to find us, to take us to the stage. We just got on there in time, So that was a funny one. I never had any malfunctions with equipment at all. Now, the production managers may, but I didn't.
Well, that's different. Yes, that's different. But yeah, I do remember seeing the band Marillion before they were famous in a club in Inverness, and the power in the venue just kept cutting out every two songs. Bang, cut out, and it was the poor band were just going insane with like, what the fuck is going on here, And it just ruined their whole set. It was a shame, But lovely band, but
yeah, I had a problem at the Marquee Club mixing sound on an Audio Master, WEM Audio Master rotary knobs mixer. I mean, we're probably only using about 10 channels, but somehow there's a shelf up behind. There was a Coca-Cola on there, and it came down on the mixer, and everything went random. No matter what you turned, it didn't affect what you were supposed to be affecting. Luckily, everything we got through the gig, whatever, but it was just shorting out all over because the sugar in the Coca-Cola just seizes up all the faders and everything,
Right, yeah.
So that was a hairy one.
Does it do to your body? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wilco's starting to look like a Doctor Who regeneration scene right now.
That's better.
Right. When you guys talk about these performance issues,
looks like Chuck's taken old One Eye to the optometrist. Jeez.
What the fuck?
Sorry, I couldn't resist that. Yeah, actually, when we talk about
Space Invaders.
Yeah, I wonder why Wilco might be getting arrested by local cops. This is probably why.
Oh, there I am.
The photo on the right. It's the photo on the right that got him into trouble.
Yeah, well, look at the blouse I'm wearing. No wonder.
I know. Yeah. Well, see, you should have been in San Francisco. You would have been.
I think I took that off somebody's deck chair on the beach.
Yeah.
So I love that. That looks pretty cool.
Pretty good. If only you had the tash of the guy next to you, it would have been even better.
Yeah, right.
He's got the Jason King tash, but there
you go.
That's a nice one. But no wonder you were getting arrested all the time.
Oh man. Oh, by the way, I do remember one I did with the Average Whites in somewhere in Australia, and the PA did actually go down, and the boxes on the side of the theaters, there's all the boxes. And Hamish was like, sing along. And he got everybody singing along. And he's going, and all you people in the lifeboats. They look like they were lifeboats on the Titanic or something. And it just made it into fun. There you go. Who's that? Nice, I think the Rock and Roll Rowdies, aren't they?
I think they are Rowdies. Yeah.
An early version of the Rowdies.
An early Rowdies iteration.
Spike in the middle.
It's the debut album, I think.
It looks like a proper photo shoot there. Is that Mal? Or
it's Mal and Spike.
Mal and Spike. He ended up with Calgary House, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I just, it's a great picture, that one. Like that big
Brian, did you get the photographs I sent the other day with the band from the 70s, Engine?
Maybe I did. Just let me go and check. You guys
just went to, we were all out there at the nursery just Tuesday night.
Continue talking while I look behind the scenes.
Yeah, it was a good night. I mean, I haven't seen Dave Usher, which was the drummer from Armada, first gig I ever did, and Tony was there. Les Taylor, I haven't seen him for 50 years, and they were in the original band Engine, and of course Connor sitting right behind me. He was there. So it was just good, fun. Alan Place with his wife Yvonne. Who else was there? I took some photographs. Maybe I didn't send them to you.
No, I don't have
Maybe
them.
I've
Was
seen
it
it
if it was an
right now.
email? I don't appear to have them, but that's because I would have downloaded them immediately if I did. So
Yeah.
forgive me for that. But we'll do that next time. We'll show those next time. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, those are great. You've sent a lot of those photos in the past of you guys when you were young, and some of the great ones were like those. But you also you were in these great clubs in the early days in London Link that you've talked a lot about the marquee, but also the speakeasy and stuff like that. I mean, what other there was a lot of kind of after hours clubs, like of after hours type clubs. I mean,
Speakeasy was the after
The
hours.
speakeasy
Really,
was
there
it.
was gigs there.
That was it. Yeah.
yeah.
We actually gigged there, and I think, Keith Moon got up on stage
Oh, there you go.
and played
Oh, my
drums.
God.
And there must have been some incredible stuff going on in there because all the stars were there, but you guys were there, like the Rowdies and whatever were there too.
Well, it was a top class restaurant as well. The chef was really renowned. I mean, the beef stroganoff I remember really well. There's Jimi Hendrix there. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone was there sitting in the restaurant. You could lucky to get a seat there.
Mhm.
Yeah, it must have been incredible. I just can't imagine how much fun that must have been as young guys to be in that atmosphere. I know obviously Hendrix wasn't there by that time, but you were there with like Led Zeppelin, The Who, Deep Purple. They were all hanging out in there. The Thin Lizzy guys. Must have been some atmosphere to be
It was
in,
the
you know.
place to be seen. It was the place to be seen for sure. You know.
Yeah.
And there was nothing going on there before 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. But were there other clubs? I mean, there used to be like the Scotch and St. James and stuff like that. Was that still going then? And that was a Beatles one they used to go to.
I don't know that one.
The other one I really remember was the Greyhound.
Okay.
You know, that was a very famous one. I mean, a lot of bands played there.
I've heard of the Greyhound pub. Yeah, it was a pub. Yeah.
Yeah, Fulham Road.
Fulham Road,
Yeah.
Fulham Palace, or whatever it was.
But you must have
you know,
been
the Oval. You know,
the Oval, yeah.
Roundabout.
But there was the King's Road. You know, these are photos from that era, like King's Road.
It's a great era. I love the quality of the photos from back then. It's really
Look at
Charing
that.
Cross.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys were there when it looked
That's
like
a great
this.
shot of the guy with his umbrella. And his,
That's right. Very
that's how businessmen dressed back in those days. I mean, it was a total crossover from us long-haired hippie type rock and rollers.
Yeah. I don't know
And
if you
these
heard
guys
the Albert.
Albert
in Victoria Street.
Yeah, fell out of that pub a couple of times.
Yeah. That's probably you. Isn't that you there on the right?
Yeah, no, that's me.
That's
in drag.
Maybe it's Granny, literally.
No, he's next to you.
That's his old boiler.
Yeah, that's the old boiler.
The marquee where it looked like this.
Yeah.
Here's another one.
Playing guitar.
Yeah, that's the Stones with Mick Taylor at the marquee. Yeah. Do you remember Regent Sound Studio in Denmark Street?
Denmark Street, yeah.
I've walked past there a few times, and Denmark Street was where all the business stuff was going on, wasn't it? Like the managers and
it was known as Tin Pan Alley.
Yeah. All the songwriters were there.
Yeah, we used to buy all our equipment there. There was an Orange shop, which is where we started, using all Orange equipment.
Yeah.
What Drum Center?
Cliff Davies, I think it was.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them.
When you were working
for an Alley Cat bar there too, that's the bar that I used to go to here. There's an Alley Cat that we used to spend a lot of time.
The Alley Cat, yeah.
When you were working for these bands, were you weren't just out doing gigs? You were taking stuff to studios too. I mean, setting them up in the studio.
Rehearsals, recording studios.
So, what kind of recording studios?
Yeah, well, a lot of times I would be taking stuff back to the band's house. Sometimes we go set the studio up in Alan's house with the tremolos, all the time.
We used to rehearse in Covent Garden.
Yeah,
Dave Martin's place, which is Martin Audio, which is now
right,
global.
He
was just starting out, and the rehearsal was down in a basement, and you could only hire it between 1 and 4 in the morning. That was the only times you could use it. So,
well, you were just waking up then. So
then when you come out of there at 4 in the morning, this is the old Covent Garden when it was fully active. Fruit
the market
sales and all the rest of it.
Fruit and veg.
I've been there to
And
the
the pubs
market.
were
Yeah.
open.
Yeah.
The pubs were open at 5 in the morning.
Which is incredible when even in the early 70s or say mid 70s when I started going to pubs, they would still, a lot of them would close at 10 o'clock in the country, out in the, even in Edinburgh, there was hardly any, there was 2 or 3 all-nighters, but not very many.
Oh,
So that London must have had loads of that.
There were special licenses for it was for the workers.
Workers, yeah, shift
Yeah.
workers.
Yeah, especially because the old English laws, it's 2:30 closing on a Sunday lunch, and then it might
I
open
remember
between
that.
7 and 10 or something.
Nowadays we expect everything to be open all the time, but there were
I
rules
know.
then. Yeah, that's right. And
Yeah.
they kind of lost
bottles of
it.
wine on, bottles, half kegs of beer home for the 3 hours in between.
Yeah, Sundays particularly was like, oh god, it's
Have your
pubs
Sunday
closing.
dinner, fart, and fall asleep, and get ready for the second shift.
All
But
the
what
pubs
others-
have like off sales, off licenses, and you can buy through a little hatch.
Yeah, that's right.
4 bottles
Yeah.
of brown ale to take with you and stuff.
Back to Covent Garden, what I hated is, as you said, Mark, you go downstairs, and there was a vegetable and fruit and all that they were selling, and it used to stink.
Yeah, it was horrible.
It was a horrible smell of dead apples and oranges and peaches that were left on the ground. And you walking down there with cabinets and amps and drum kits, and it's just a couple of times I nearly slipped. I was like, no, I hated the place. I really did. But
I've been there in I was there in the 1980s and a few times after. I don't think I was ever there, and I was to the 70s. It looked, hang on, I've got an image here. It kind of looked something like this, I guess.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
In fact, I think all the way to your right, right in the corner, I think that's where it was, wasn't it?
That's Dave Martin's rehearsal studio down there. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, wow, yeah. I didn't know that was there. I mean, I've been to Covent Garden, as I say, in the 80s and 90s, but never knew that was there.
I don't know whether it is still existing as a workshop.
I don't think it is.
No, probably not.
Now it's just all trendy wine bars and stuff,
Yeah. I mean, it kind of looked like this inside. I know it's hard to see that, but yeah.
Yeah. All flat caps and barras.
Flat caps.
Yeah, exactly.
It's quite the place. Yeah, I mean, it was even when I went there. First of all, there was a lot of buskers playing all the time during the day there, and musicians when I went.
It's become a tourist area.
Yeah, it was more touristy. Yeah.
No, in the 70s, it was just veggies and fruit. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
I've got a quiz question for you. See if you can name this place.
And that's it's not the Hollywood Bowl.
No, it's in London.
It's in London.
Hyde Park. Yeah. It's the Serpentine.
It's the Crystal Palace Bowl.
Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Oh.
They used to have, I don't know if I've ever seen it, the Crystal Palace Bowl, but I love this because it's got a heated pool in front of the stage. I don't know what band that is playing. This is from the 70s at some place. But,
dry ice. It's like dry ice coming.
Dry ice, but there are people in water as well.
Yeah. That's pretty...
never seen that. That's fantastic.
I've never seen that at all.
I just came across this picture today. I thought, I wonder if you guys ever seen it. I never knew it existed, but apparently they're using it again. Crystal Palace Bowl. Yeah.
Well, why not?
I like it. I think it's fantastic.
That's great. Yeah, it's not quite got the same.
I mean, I wouldn't want the fans that close to the stage though with water.
Sure, it's not quite as glamorous as the Hollywood Bowl, but it's still okay. And another one
Bowl is probably one of the most glamorous gigs I've ever done. I did that with George Benson, and I was working with.
Oh yeah, because I was sorry, Mark.
I was working with Sadao Watanabe, Japanese sax player.
Oh yeah.
Soprano sax.
Nice.
Yeah. That was a sort of jazz thing, but it was such a smooth gig, and the audience are very middle class, sophisticated. It was just. No one was swearing on rock and roll.
Nice. It just depends what band you were.
Well, yeah, but with that particular outfit, it was pretty smart,
Yeah.
Makes me think of
quality. I did Wings there, and backstage, but I went up front because a lot of my friends were up there in the boxes and stuff, and because you got the guys in the back boxes, and you got the guys in the front. As soon as I sat down with my friends, all of a sudden about 10 joints came from different areas. You want a joint, man? I didn't even know who these people were, but everybody was passing joints around. It was a big thing in the Hollywood Bowl.
Whose gig was that, Wilco?
That was at a Wings gig.
Wings, yeah.
Wings.
Oh, Wings.
McCartney.
Oh, with Hamish was
McCartney.
Yeah, Hamish was.
Hamish era, yeah.
They weren't even called Wings back then. It was just McCartney.
It was, yeah, just Paul McCartney. Yeah. Hamish was a big part of that band for what, 10, 12 years or something. Yeah. I've seen Hamish, but with Ringo. I've seen him play with Ringo. At the Ringo Starr's All-Star Band. I've been to one of the gigs that Hamish was playing at. Yeah. So Lina is again asking questions. Could you please give me a description of rock and roll in 3 words, all of you? Well, I'd say rock and roll.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Sex and drugs.
So,
yeah.
Okay, there's the challenge.
And rock and roll.
Yeah. Description of rock and roll in 3 words.
But, you know.
Strife and chaos.
2 legs over easy, 4 legs over easy, 6 legs over easy, and if you're really lucky, 10 legs over easy. And that happened a lot.
It sounds like more than 3 words, though.
Oh, well, can't count.
I don't know. That's a tough challenge. One more. It's just because I was looking at venues and in London in those days that you were working there, and there's another one. Did you ever work this place? The Hammersmith Palais.
Hammersmith Palais, yeah, of course we did.
Yeah, that's
just down the street from the Hammersmith Odeon.
Yeah, and I've been to gigs at the Odeon, but I've never been to gigs at the Palais.
Yeah, that was more of a dance palais. Well, I suppose that's what the palais means, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's more like your sort of your Saturday night with your going there and your rock and
roll.
Come
dancing.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, more like that.
I did the tremolos there.
Oh yeah. But phrasing. I just Courtney will like this one because the Ramones were playing there on this particular poster that it mentions there. But it looks a bit run down there. I guess they must have got rid of it since it's probably gone.
No, I think it's still there. I'm sure it's still there.
Yeah. But that's another one. There's so many venues in London. I mean, so many are gone as well. But I found this little nice clip of 6 of them.
The
Astoria. The Charing Cross Road, Astoria 2. The Falcon in Camden. I'd never heard of that one.
No. The only one in Camden was, what was it called, Mark? Went there many times.
Camden.
Oh, but Jesus Christ.
Crown and Anchor? No, Town and Anchor.
No. It was an actual club. It was a great club.
Yeah.
I did a lot of gigs there. We actually went there because it was the only place that sold Stella in the 70s.
Oh, right. Stella Tortoise.
Dingwalls.
Dingwalls, yeah.
Dingwalls, yeah. That was a big club.
Dingwalls.
Yeah, big Dingwalls. The Cricketers in Kennington. I don't remember that one either.
I've played there. I've actually played there. It's right by the Oval. Right by the Oval.
Oh, that's why it'd be called the Cricketers, yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
But just so many venues, and just incredible. It's for a little lad from me. I mean, I thought Edinburgh was big when I was a kid. In London's like 12 million people. And each area is like a town, though. I mean, it's like
that's the thing.
Areas, districts.
It is, yeah.
I mean, where were you living when you guys moved down there? I know you were separately went, but...
Well, I was actually in North Holloway, Holloway Road. And then I moved in with Mal and Granny at Kensington Olympia. Much better.
Kensington. Kensington.
Yeah, well, we did that. I was a rock and roller by then.
That's the rough side of it.
I was making 10 quid a week.
Yeah.
I could afford a couple of pints and a bed.
That's right. Well, I did a recording with Granny yesterday about some stuff, and he mentioned the 10 quid a week that he got from Gnidrolog. That's what we were recording. I did a recording with him about Gnidrolog, and you better ask the other guys if we can post this video. I said, I don't see why not. I mean, I'm doing one with Mark, and I'm going to do one with all of you about stuff. Just record it, and then.
Well, that's right. I mean, we were only on, peanuts, really. 14 quid a week. I seem to remember getting for gigs, and that's like leaving at 10 in the morning, traveling up north. Yeah. Doing a gig in some sweaty club and getting back at 7 the next morning, you get 10 quid or 12 quid in your pocket.
Yeah, but 10 to 15 quid was a lot of money. I mean, I for a long time had a gyro from 77. No, not kind of big. 73 or 72 for 2 quid. That's what the unemployment
a
would
week.
be.
Oh yeah, it
That's
was
what the
nothing.
doorman- I mean, I was still gigging, but I was getting my dollar as well. You know,
It
I
was
didn't do that.
nothing.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Erase
It was
that.
I used to give the chick a T-shirt. She goes, "How long's your tour? 3 weeks. Here, I'll give you a T-shirt every week." Okay. I used to just sign it for 3 weeks. Come back.
I could never
6
figure
quid.
out how people could live their entire lives on the dole, because the one
Yeah.
time I briefly was on it, it was like 11 quid a week. And I thought, that doesn't even buy,
No.
it wouldn't pay for one night's rent in a flop house. You know, it was just, I don't know how it.
Well, you know, also in the 70s, I mean, we lived in McLeese Road. Did you ever go there, Mark?
No, I
Down
never
by
went to
the Kensington
Baron's
Olympia.
Court?
It was a 3-story, 4-story, huge house with a big basement. We all
Is that
lived there.
Baron's Court where Alan Gorey was? And
No. It was on McLeese Road. It was right by the Olympia. My bed sit, that's what they were called back then. Bed
that's it.
sits.
Beds.
And I could actually touch both my walls like that. And I had a little bed in it. I didn't wear clothes. I was always naked, so I didn't need much of that. And I had a little stove that I used to put my Frey Bentis pies in.
Oh,
Remember the Frey
those are
Bentis?
good.
Baby
man.
belly. Baby
Those are
belly.
Baby,
That's
yeah,
all
those
you
are
Three
good.
did.
lentils, steak and kidney pie.
Yeah,
Lovely.
And a baked
Yeah.
potato.
yeah,
That was
Lovely.
lived on all that. Lived on it.
So yeah, I
yeah.
mean, so if you could just touch the walls like that, that would make it like the maximum would be a 4 legs over easy in there, I think.
Oh no, I used to knock on the door when she was getting 2 legs over easy and say, "Shut up! I'm trying to get to sleep in here. Come in
That's
here, let me
right.
have a match." You know,
Yeah, exactly.
that's
One
what
or
it
the
was like.
other.
The bed sits. It's you know, I have no
Yeah, well,
idea.
we had a bed sit on Gloucester Avenue when we first got that, and you're sharing a bed sit. You know, you got two single beds or a bunk.
Jeez.
You know, and you know you're struggling to pay the rent there, but I got really lucky. We got a nice flat in Tasker Road off Haverstock Hill.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah, that was a nice area, Belsize Park.
Yeah.
And there was 4 of us living there. From Dave Lear and Russ Conway, and Martin Turner was sleeping on the couch because he had nowhere to live at the time.
Jeez.
But there is another guy called Bob Pridden, and he
Oh,
used to collect the rent from us. I don't know, I can't remember what it was, maybe 20-30 pound a week for the whole flat. So we were all chipping in on sort of tenors, 5 or 6 quid. Well, anyway, but pay it monthly. So one month he vanished with all the rent.
Whoa,
And I've never seen him again.
Didn't
to this
he work
day.
for the Who? Didn't he end up working for the Who?
No,
Bob
that's Bob Pridden. This is Bob Pring. Sorry.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry if that Bob Pridden. Yeah,
Bob Pridden of the Who did not do
no,
that.
that was not him.
Different Bob.
Yeah. I
This
was
guy,
thinking, oh, that's a bit nasty, but that's a terrible thing to do. I mean, how could anyone do that? It's a one-off. You get a one-off bit of money, but you've made enemies of multiple guys. You know,
I've never seen him since. You know, when we were all good friends, it's like he's shit. You know. So I don't know what
maybe he
happened.
fell in the River Thames and lost it all. Who knows?
Well,
It's
karma
probably a
will
good
come
thing you
back.
never saw him again. You don't have that person in your life anymore. It's
Well,
kind of
that's
a
good.
shitty situation, but
I'm glad I haven't seen him again because I'd still bloody either ask him for the money or nothing.
Karma would catch up eventually,
Yeah,
I think. But yeah. So, gentlemen, I don't know if we're at the top of the hour.
We are?
We are. You've actually managed to successfully talk for an entire hour without actually saying anything. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm going to the pub. I'm off to the pub.
So you got to go to the pub now, yeah.
I'm going to the pub.
So if you're okay, we'll start to wrap up. And but this was magnificent. Thank you for sharing those memories, guys.
So what should we talk
My
about next
pleasure.
week? So I can start advertising.
Oh, geez, I don't know. It's up to you. I mean, we can do more of this. We've hardly
I
scratched the
told
surface.
Granny, I told Granny and Mark.
I think Granny's
Mal
on next week and
tomorrow.
hopefully Mal as well. But I just want
Yeah.
to say that anyone that was watching or listening or re-listening on the playback or whatever, please give us a subscribe button because we're trying to hit some targets here with our subscriptions and we're really getting near there. So don't forget to do that. And thanks a lot for watching, whoever you are,
Yeah.
and everybody else.
Yeah, thanks everyone for being in the chat here today. That you're all wonderful. We really enjoyed your chats. And it's about getting more people to listen to these great stories. You know, so thank you for helping us
that's right.
share it out.
Gentlemen and ladies. the
and
ladies.
and those who may be of other
Questionable.
persuasions
Yes,
in
the
San
vegetable
Francisco, perhaps.
from Covent
Cadillac
Garden.
lady
Thank you
in
very
San
much.
Francisco.
Yeah, thanks for your
Dustin,
support,
thank you, mate.
everybody. And we'll
Brian,
be
talk to you later.
yeah, we'll be back next week with more stories.
I'm
And there
going
will
to
be
go.
more videos getting put up. I've done, as I say, I did a discussion with Granny about Gnidrolog.
Oh God!
Turned out
Do
to be
not do
quite
any more stuff
interesting.
with it.
How
Do
long
not
did
do
that
any more
last?
stuff with it.
Mark and I are going to be talking over the weekend about some of the venues, the current classic rock venues that he's been working at, and we're plugging those a little bit. And then Wilco, whenever
Places like yours where you've got like memorabilia posters from from all over,
got-
and just specifically booking acts, that from that era, and
yes.
hopefully booking the Rock and Roll Rowdies as well as a
So
night
look out
out.
for that being posted after Mark and I have had that chat, and then also Wilco and I'll figure out something to talk about. I've got a couple of things I'd like to do, just a one-on-one with you, Wilco. We could record and put up as a video. I'm thinking, the Holy. Oh, we can't hear him now. Thank God.
14th of September.
Yes. Well, we'll have to work
Special
out how we're
day.
going to do that. We need to figure out how we're going to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, figure that one out.
Anyway, thank you, everybody.
Dustin. Thanks for being there, mate. It's always good to have your vibes, man. You're cool.
Dustin,
I appreciate you letting me sit in.
Plug your channel quickly, Dustin.
Charging you 10 quid next week.
Keto Simple. That's my channel. We talk about living a keto lifestyle and all that fun stuff. So you can catch us live at 7 p.m. every Tuesday.
Nice.
There you go.
And Dustin will be joining me on Monday on my channel at 3 p.m. Mountain Time, where we're doing another Canon Film Club talking about Masters of the Universe. I have the power.
You can
You
So-
guys
see
are
me,
internet sensations, man.
you can
Internet.
see me anytime, morning, day and night, at the pub. That's what I'm
Well,
doing.
we should live stream from the pub. One of these days we're going to do
We
that.
should.
but
We
all of
should.
us, yes. I'm coming over to
We
see
got
you.
we should do it in deal. We got a pub down there. We could do it.
Right. Well, we'll work that out for sure. We'll all go to a pub and live stream from different pubs.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Right. Thank you,
Cheers.
guys. Thank you, chat. Take care, everybody. And we'll see you next week. Keep on rocking.